The stories we learned about our bodies. Before we ever judged our bodies, we learned how to watch them. Before mirrors became places of criticism, they were simply reflections. But over time, stories entered the room. There is a saying that explains this better than anything else. The way we talk to our children becomes their inner voice. That voice didn't appear suddenly. It was built slowly, through comments, silences, jokes, glances, and comparisons. Even when no one thought we were listening, we were absorbing everything. How bodies were discussed, which ones were praised, which ones were criticized, which ones were ignored. This audiobook is not about changing your body. It's about understanding why you see it the way you do. Because body image doesn't come from nowhere. It grows from family dynamics, culture, media, relationships, and moments we often dismiss as insignificant. And once you understand where these ideas came from, they lose some of their power. You don't need to fix yourself to deserve peace. You need clarity. So take a breath, slow down, and listen, not to judge, but to recognize. Awareness is the beginning of compassion, and compassion is where healing starts. Chapter 1. The Voices We Grew Up With. Most of us didn't inherit body shame directly. We absorbed it indirectly. It entered our lives through the way our parents spoke about themselves. Complaints in the mirror, casual remarks about weight, jokes about needing to diet before an event. Even harmless-sounding comments carried weight. Children don't need to be criticized to feel pressure. They learn by watching. When a parent constantly scrutinizes their own body, the message becomes clear. Bodies are something to control, correct, and monitor. Love may not be withdrawn, but approval feels conditional. Even comments about other people matter. Laughing at someone's size, criticizing appearances on TV, or comparing relatives teaches children what is acceptable and what isn't. These ideas quietly settle into the subconscious. Over time, the voice you heard becomes the voice you carry. You don't question it, you assume it's truth. But here's the important part. That voice was learned, and anything learned can be unlearned. Recognizing that your inner critic may not be yours is not weakness, it's freedom. Chapter 2. When Normal Became Unreal. We live in a world where images are edited so seamlessly that reality no longer stands a chance. Skin without pores, bodies without softness, faces shaped by algorithms rather than genetics. And because the editing is invisible, we compare ourselves to something that doesn't exist. When your brain constantly consumes altered images, it rewrites its understanding of normal. Suddenly, perfectly healthy bodies feel wrong. Natural aging feels like failure. Ordinary becomes unacceptable. The danger isn't Photoshop itself, it's forgetting that it's there. When distortion becomes familiar, your body feels like the problem. But the truth is simple. Human bodies are not meant to be symmetrical, smooth, or static. They change daily. They hold water, scars, history, and emotion. Comparing yourself to edited images is like comparing your life to a movie scene. One is lived, the other is constructed. Your body isn't failing to keep up. It was never meant to compete with fiction. Chapter 3. First Love, First Lessons. Our earliest romantic experiences shape more than memories. They shape beliefs. The way the first people we dated or were intimate with treated our bodies often becomes a reference point we carry for years. If those experiences were affirming, they created safety. But if they were dismissive, critical, or conditional, the damage can linger quietly. A comment made once can echo for decades. A lack of appreciation can turn into self-doubt. When you're young, your sense of worth is still forming. You don't separate someone's immaturity from your own value.
Instead, your body becomes the explanation. This is why many insecurities trace back to first relationships, not because something was wrong with you, but because your body was present during emotional vulnerability. Your body didn't cause rejection, it simply became associated with it. Understanding this allows you to release blame. Those experiences shaped beliefs, not truths, and beliefs can change. Chapter 4. How we judge others. Pay attention to the insults that come to mind when you're angry or defensive. What do you reach for first? Weight? Skin? Physical traits? The way we judge others reveals more about our fears than their flaws. When physical appearance becomes the easiest weapon, it's because society taught us that bodies are fair targets. But every time you reduce someone else to their body, you reinforce the same system that harms you. Judgment trains the mind to stay critical, and a critical mind never limits itself to others. It eventually turns inward. Compassion is not just kindness towards others, it's protection for your own peace. When you let go of appearance-based judgment, you weaken the inner voice that uses the same language against you. Chapter 5. Friends and Collective Mindsets. Your friends don't need to comment on your body to influence how you feel about it. You absorb their attitudes through observation, how they eat, how they rest, how they talk about exercise, food, and control. We unconsciously mirror the mindset of the people we spend the most time with. If self-punishment is normalized, you'll start to see it as discipline. If restriction is praised, freedom feels irresponsible. It's not about blame, it's about awareness. Ask yourself, does this environment support a healthy relationship with a human body, or does it thrive on constant dissatisfaction? Healing often requires changing not just habits, but atmospheres. Chapter 6. Culture, Food, and Heritage. Food is never just food. It carries memory, tradition, and belonging. Many of us learn to associate eating with celebration, and later with guilt. In some cultures, food is love. In others, it's control. Comments from relatives often come disguised as concern, but repeated over time, they settle deeply into identity. Emotional eating doesn't come from weakness, it comes from connection. When comfort is needed, food becomes language. Understanding this removes shame. You weren't failing, you were responding. Chapter 7. Love Beyond the Surface. Until you experience love that isn't conditional, it's hard to believe it exists. Real connection doesn't shrink when bodies change, it deepens. When someone sees you, not just how you look, but who you are, appearance loses power. You realize that love was never meant to be earned through physical perfection. And anyone who only loves you under conditions doesn't love you fully. Chapter 8. Fitness Without Punishment. Movement was meant to support life, not punish bodies. When exercise becomes a tool for self-correction, it loses joy. Your body isn't a project, it's a partner. Fitness should help you feel capable, strong, and alive, not ashamed for existing. Chapter 9. Comments, Catcalls, and Reduction. Even comments meant to be compliments can reduce a body to an object. Being constantly observed teaches the body to feel unsafe. You are not public property. Your body is not an invitation for judgment. Respect is not optional. Bodies are built differently. Genetics matter. Health isn't visible. Comparing bodies ignores biology. It creates impossible standards and endless dissatisfaction. Your body isn't wrong, it's specific. We were not designed to live indoors. Sunlight regulates mood, energy, and connection. Denying your body light disconnects you from yourself. Nature reminds us we belong, not to standards, but to life. When you don't believe you offer value, your body becomes the focus. It's the most visible thing to judge. But your worth was never physical. It was human. You don't need to look better to matter more. Rejection hurts, and it's easy to blame your body. But someone who requires you to change to be loved is not safe to love you. You don't need to shrink to be chosen. Your body was meant to laugh, play, move, rest, and love. There is no evolutionary advantage to constant self-hatred. Your body is not an apology. It is a home, and homes deserve care, not criticism.